Welcome to the Holly Hibbard Leadership Podcast, your go-to source for actionable insights, practical advice, and inspiring stories to help you lead with faith-filled purpose at work and at home. If you're looking to equip, empower, and encourage yourself to thrive in an ever-changing world, you're in the right place. I'm Holly Hibbard, and with over 20 years of experience as a science teacher, leadership coach, entrepreneur, and relationship mentor, I understand the challenges and growth opportunities that come with pursuing your passion. Whether you're chasing career goals, taking entrepreneurial leaps, or finally reaching for those long-postponed ambitions, I'm here to help. So let's get comfortable having uncomfortable conversations and explore ways you can lead your family, lead your life, and find your calling with intention and faith. Hello, friend. It's Holly. Welcome back to the show. Today, I want to dive into the topic of leadership in regards to stress. Specifically, maybe you're not as stressed as you think. This came about in a conversation that I was having with a colleague today, and we were chatting about how I'm feeling so stressed or I'm stressed out has become a common response to the question of, how are you doing? How are you feeling? What's new? Oh, I'm under a lot of stress. I'm feeling a lot of stress. And I said to him, when I would coach people on the topic of stress, I would often ask them what it felt like. And my colleague said to me, that's funny because I have often thought to myself the question of, what is stress exactly anyway? And what I mentioned to him is sometimes we say that we're feeling a certain way, or that we are a certain way, or we are being a certain way, because not that we actually are, but rather we lack the vocabulary or the words to describe what actually is happening. So I want to break down today with you the different types of stress or other things that you may be feeling in those moments that you are calling stress. And I'm not here to say that stress doesn't exist. In fact, I actually put out a piece of social media content not too long ago sharing that stress is a necessary part of life. It's actually a survival mechanism that is there to keep that adrenaline rush going so that we pay attention, we focus. So the body needs to be under some level of stress. But if our day-to-day life is consumed by this feeling of I'm stressed or stressed out, well, then let's explore together today and determine, is it really stress? Are you as stressed as you think? Or could it be something else? I want you to consider this question. Where are you experiencing your stress? Is it mostly in your thoughts? Is it a state of mind that you tend to experience that makes you say to someone else, I am stressed or stressed out? Or do you experience stress in your body? Do you have physical symptoms of that stress? So I want to give you a couple examples of each. If a person is feeling stress in the physical body, that could feel like very tense shoulders or muscle groups that just don't seem to relax. Often in the United States, Americans specifically are notorious for having a lot of back pain. That is something that is also very unique to our population in this country that isn't so common in other parts of the world. And that can be a sign of physical stress as well. Tension being held in different muscle groups, tension being held and experienced in your back. Stress in the body can also feel like nervousness or shakiness. So for example, if you are going to give a large presentation for your career, or you're going to have an exceptionally vulnerable, difficult conversation with your spouse or a family member, or face something head on that really is grinding your gears and stressing you, you may notice your body shakes from nervousness. And could it be nerves? Yes, absolutely. But that is a stress response. It is the body's nervous system that senses you're going through something or about to go through something, and giving a physical form reaction. Those are just a couple of examples of physical body stress. Stress could also show up as headaches. Some people have stress headaches that could be caused by things that you are undergoing in your surroundings, but could also be related to nutrition or hormonal imbalances or so many different things. But I want to highlight here that stress is not only what is happening to you from the outside world. Stress is a response. It's something that you will feel in your body in some way in certain circumstances. Also, I want to highlight before I talk about what mental stress can feel like. When it comes to how you experience stress, you're not going to have a one size fits all. Every time I'm stressed out, I go through this exact same set of symptoms or signs or physical or mental thing. You just want to start to notice patterns about yourself. Personal leadership is about understanding how you tick. And for you to know that your body is giving you cues that you are stressed, and the ways that your body, your physical body highlights that can only further empower you to go seek out solutions to help calm yourself down, to calm the physical body down. And depending on the circumstances, depending on the type of stress and what you're going through and the level of stress you're experiencing, you may not have body stress, and it may be more this other category of mental stress. So let's talk about what mental stress can feel like. I think of mental stress being very closely related to what some people will call anxiety. Mental stress to me, I think about racing thoughts or obsessive thoughts. So you have a trouble sleeping at night, or you wake up in the middle of the night because your mind is racing with how you would have, could have, should have done things during the day, or you're really nervous or worried about something coming up. So you're not sleeping because your mind is in overdrive and second guessing and questioning your level of preparedness for what is coming down the pike. So it can look like racing thoughts. It can look like obsessing over the same situation, replaying moments over and over again. And those things take up your mental energy. In this example, you could be laying in bed physically doing nothing, but that mental stress is consuming energy. It's consuming your emotional energy. It's consuming your mental energy. So you may have an experience of, oh, I'm so tired, but why can't I sleep? Because your physical body is tired, but your mind is still going. That is signs of mental stress. And again, there's so many other examples of this out there, but I'm highlighting just a couple to explain that your stress can show up as different things. It can show up as physical signs. It can show up as things in the mind. So now that I've highlighted some examples of physical and mental stress, let's talk about why perhaps we should care about this in the first place. I don't know anyone other than people who acknowledge that, hey, a little bit of stress gives me that adrenaline rush and pushes me through. I don't know anyone other than those moments who would sit back and say, I love feeling stressed out. This is exactly how I imagined my day would go today. And if we acknowledge and start to get to know how our mind and our physical body react to stress, we can then go look for the tools and solutions that we can use in those moments to quiet down the body, quiet down the mind. And when we quiet down the mind and the body, what comes with that on the other side of utilizing these tools is a sense of clarity, increased creativity. We're more easily able to express our thoughts, what we are experiencing to other people, because there's a collective experience of, okay, I can see what is happening now. I've figured out the verbiage for how I want to describe this to somebody else. So let's talk about a couple of tools we can use, starting with physical stress. If you have physical stress, oftentimes people might say something like, go get a massage if you are feeling tense in any which way. And listen, I'm all for that. That's fantastic. And that is not practical all the time. So what other physical body sensory experience can you do at home that doesn't take a lot of resources? So for an example, it could be taking a hot shower. And I say shower because it's faster than a bath. If you have time for a bath, go for it. For me, I personally enjoy, yes, you can do like candles and bubbles and all that, but just taking a shower and keeping the lighting in your bathroom to minimum can be so soothing because you're taking some of that sensory overload down. So you're getting the soothing effect of water on the skin and the steam from the shower if you have it a little bit warm. But also there's something that starts to calm your nervous system down where there's just enough darkness where you can shift your brain into that mode of, okay, it's more like evening time. We're winding down now. It's time to relax some. So that is one thing you can do that might take, a little bit longer, 10, 15 minutes. Now, another thing you can do is take the time to stretch. Yes, stretch. So stretching could be anything from a yoga pose to, here's something I do. I have a $3 lacrosse ball. No joke. It's actually sitting here on my desk as I'm talking. And when I have tension, a lot of times I carry tension in my shoulders or I carry it in my calves. And so while my family and I are watching TV, I bring my yoga mat to the living room and I sit down, I bring out my $3 the lacrosse ball, and I will use it to roll the muscles of my calves on it. Or I will go stand up next to a flat wall and put the lacrosse ball between my shoulder, like the back of my shoulder and the wall, and kind of roll around like a bear scratch kind of thing. And that works out some of the tension in those spots. Yes, this is nothing major or mind-blowing. I want here to give you some practical, simple things that you can do just to relax the physical body in some way. And you can do conventional stretching. You don't need a lacrosse ball or anything like that or fancy equipment. Just go back to 5th grade gym and think of the stretches that you learned there and attempt to do them. And I promise it can bring some relief to your physical form and quiet down your physical stress. For your mental stress, this one, I'll say that a lot of times, I know for me, when I am going to bed, if I've had a long day and I'm in that woulda, coulda, shoulda mode, would have done this, should have said that, or I'm thinking about something really big happening the next day, that level of thought, puzzle racing all over, it can make for a messy mind. And so something that's very simple to do is get out a piece of paper and to write down everything that is on my mind. Yes, like a brain dump on paper. Get it out of your mind and onto a piece of paper. The idea behind this is not to come up with an answer or a solution in the moment. The only purpose is to get it out of your system. And this doesn't need to look like a fancy Dear Diary, Dear God, anything like that. Keep it simple and just put your worries on paper. That's it. And then you close the book that you were writing in and you go to sleep. The other thing that works really well, and this is another part of the conversation with my colleague today, is he says to me, how does a person meditate? What does that even mean? And I said to him, sometimes I just want to keep it very simple. And so when my mind is under stress or going through those thoughts, like I said, I will get into bed. I will sit up in my bed and turn the lights off and to start to turn down that sensory overload. And I close my eyes and I simply breathe in through my nose and count to 8 in my mind and breathe out through my nose and count to 8. And my goal is to do that 10 times. And then when the 10 times is up, I'm pretty tired. It takes a couple minutes and my mind is quieter and I lay fully down in my bed and I go to sleep. And so it doesn't have to be, everybody, something so complex. But again, the key here is notice how you experience stress and start to consider the ways that you can quiet your mental stress, quiet your physical stress. I'm not saying these are cure-alls. I'm not saying these tools are going to work every time. But if all we say all day long is, I'm stressed, I'm stressed, I'm stressed, I'm stressed, you've got to give yourself an outlet at some point. And there are healthy ways to do that, and there are unhealthy ways to do that. The unhealthiest thing to do is to feel stressed and not give it an outlet. Sometimes physical release is as easy as going for a walk for 5 minutes and getting that energy that's kicking around in your body and freaking you out of your system. The mental exercise can just be as simple as closing your eyes when you're in the middle of something busy at work, taking one giant deep breath and reminding yourself everything is going to work out. And that's it. Take a moment to comfort yourself silently. And again, these are not brain buster, earth shattering solutions, but they are practical. So that is my invitation to all of you today, is to consider maybe you're not as stressed as you think. Maybe you are experiencing mental stress or physical stress, but maybe not both. Maybe everything I described today, you're thinking, I think my stuff is at another level. That might be chronic anxiety. That might be something else that requires a conversation with your physician or your medical practitioner. But at least we're on the right track with personal development and personal leadership of you knowing how you tick and having to take a committed action to discover a way or multiple ways that you can get your stress managed and back to a baseline. Really excited to hear what you have to say about today's episode. Which type of stress do you think you experience most often? The mental stress or the physical stress? Leave me a comment, send me a note. I'd love to hear from you, and give me your best tips of how you sort through those stressful moments when you do have them. I hope this was supportive, and until next time, I will talk to you next time. Thanks for listening. I'm high-fiving you right now because I'm so proud of you for putting your personal growth first. Remember, I believe in you, and with faith-filled intention and committed actions, you can lead your life, purpose, and family to wherever you dream possible. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean so much to me if you'd take 30 seconds to help others discover the show. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast, share the show with your friends and family, or screenshot this episode to your Instagram stories and tag me at the Holly Hibbard. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. I'm always here cheering you on, and until next time, stay curious, remain encouraged, and keep empowering yourself. You're doing better than you think. I promise.